Woo!
Hey everybody, Jim Sammons here, and welcome to the Kayak Fishing Show live. As always, brought to you by Ballast Point Brewing Company. My back is killing me. My shoulder's killing me. I'm going to have my favorite painkiller here. A little grapefruit sculpin. Yeah, still one of my favorites. Good stuff. Hope you're all doing good. It was fun to get back to it last week. It was great having our buddy Patrick Sabile on and talking about the investment opportunities he had going with a band of anglers. I don't know if any of you guys jumped on that. He did seem to get a little bit of a surge right after we did our show. So maybe we could take credit. I don't know. Patrick's a great guy and he makes a great product. So, I mean, I'm a believer for sure. So, maybe it's something you can consider if you get a few extra bucks laying around and want to be a part of that company. I do appreciate all you guys coming back, joining with us again. I know it's going to take a while to get our momentum going again after we've been basically haven't done a live show in, over a month. But we just started again last week. So again, thanks for you that are joining. And I look forward to doing more and more of these. If you are new to this, every week we play some of our older episodes of the Kayak Fishing Show, and along with live commentary, I often will have guests. I'm still waiting to see if my guest shows up today, because literally like a minute before I hit the live button, he replied and said he could do it. So now I'm just waiting for him to come back on. So anyway, a couple of things to go on about before we start the show, before we start the airing the episode anyway. I did post something earlier today. If you're looking for some new straps, tie down straps for your kayak, I highly recommend these. I've been using NRS straps forever, and I posted up they were discounting some of their straps. So this is something you really should check if you're not doing it. Hey, get good quality straps, because cheap straps, they just rot. But it's something you should check, fairly often, particularly if you're like me and you tend to leave your kayaks either strapped on your vehicle or strapped down on your trailer, which is what I do. For instance, I had my kayak strapped on my truck some years ago, and I just jumped up onto the bed of my truck because they were on a rack up on top, so they were pretty high. I jumped up there and I go to cinch them down a little bit, and it snapped and I fell off of my truck. Luckily, I fell backwards into a hedge, so I didn't get hurt or anything, but it certainly surprised me. Not too long ago, I was tightening some straps on my trailer, and it basically had been sitting there for some time, and I went to cinch them down, and the strap just exploded. And I'm lucky. I mean, I carry kayaks all the time and have been doing it for many, 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 many years, and I've never lost a kayak, knock on wood. So it is something to think about. So check your straps periodically, and just maybe even think about, maybe once a year getting new straps, because even the best of them, if you're using them a lot, they will kind of rot out there in the sun. So what else was I going to say? Oh, I got some great news the other day. I'm going to go in and get surgery on my shoulder. So like I said, I was having my painkiller here. But I did get authorization to have my shoulder fixed. So looks like I'll be using my pedal boats a little bit more than my paddle boats for a while. So, and hopefully I can get it scheduled soon. The way things are right now, you try to get in and, you get scheduled 4 months out. So, Another thing, I posted, and I did it as a story. Jackson Kayak, Blue Sky Boat Works has a new sand wheels out for their the Blue Sky. And I mean, a vast improvement. The wheels that came with the Blue Sky are kind of skinny. They're okay if you're like wheeling it down a street or sidewalks or that sort of thing, but you get in rough terrain or softer sand, they weren't the best. So they've got a new sand wheel. I posted that as a story on our Instagram page as well as on this page. I'm going to be doing a full walkthrough install video on those very soon. So you'll be able to have a chance to see that, as well as the new Bimini for the Blue Sky. So I'll be doing a video on that. I see there's a couple people checking in. Let me just say hello really quick. Liam, as always, the first one to check in and watching from Kayak Fishing Tales, our YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching. Dave Fowler, watching up in Ottawa. I always ask, I think every time Dave comes on, it's like, how cold is it in Canada now? It's my wife and I actually just went for a walk before the show, and we're like, dang, it is freezing. And, you know, I'm in San Diego. I think it was, I mean, for us, it was freezing. It was like 56. So, I mean, I almost had to put on a sweatshirt. So I can't imagine what everybody's been going through on the East Coast and up in Canada. That's just too cold for me. Wait, Ahmad is watching from Dubai. How cool is that? I would love to go there sometime. That is freaking awesome. Bobby saying hello again, always joining us. I appreciate it, man. Serge also up in Ottawa. Nicholas Beltran, he's out on his sup. I'm kidding. Mitch says he'll get the new wheels for his Blue Sky. Yeah, I said, I don't know if you saw the story I posted yesterday, and maybe I'll post a picture of it for people who missed that, because obviously those disappear. But I'll post a picture of that. And then, like I said, I'm going to do a full walkthrough video. See, here we go. -4 Celsius in Ottawa. That's too cold, man. That's too cold. I'm guessing it's not any warmer in Quebec. Wait, we got Jenka is watching from England. I just love this. The fact that we get people from all over the world watching these shows. It's so cool, and I really, really appreciate you guys all joining us. So, like I said, you know, we air our old episodes of the show. Today is season 9, episode 10. I was fishing again. This is a continuation from last week's, fishing with my good buddy Brooks Beatty, who he didn't want that on film, and every time he did it, it made it on the show. And luckily I got a hold of him, and he like I said, he replied about a minute before I was starting this show and said he could make it. So with no further ado, bring in my good buddy, Brooks Beatty. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. We haven't talked in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. Where are you hiding now? Are you in Idaho again, or?
I'm actually just pulled up to the house here in Charlotte. Been down in Florida a little bit. Little work, little pleasure, but did not get to go chasing these fish that we did in this episode, unfortunately.
Well, like I said, last week's episode was the episode where we were with Patrick, and we went up those little areas and throwing his prototypes. And you were working the popper for the jacks, and I was mainly fishing the dart spin, but nice. Before it had a name.
I think I still got that popper over here somewhere in my tackle arsenal. I think it's even got, like, you know, some model numbers like written on the bottom. It was like super prototype.
Right. Yeah, those things were super prototype.
Yeah,
but they work. And so this episode is the SailFish Smackdown. So, you know how awesome we did chasing sailfish.
Yeah.
So big secret here, as is typical with my show. We show up and the conditions are so bad they actually canceled the tournament. I mean, it's just, I've been wanting to fish that tournament for a long time. I mean, it's just those guys at Extreme Kayak, they put on a tournament, man. They do it right. Yeah. And we show up, and I mean, it's blowing 40 miles an hour or something, just nuts.
Believe it or not, the day that it's like typical Florida, right? People ask about fishing in Florida. I'm like, give yourself a week at least, because it's going to blow like it always does. And I think the last day before we came back, it was like blowing 35 sustained all day. So
yeah. And what, right now they're having a cold snap. At least I think it warmed up today, but I think like the last few days it's just been cold as heck. I talked to actually Jameson Redding yesterday, and he was down at Disney World.
Yeah, I think we waved at each other on the interstate as we
Oh yeah. I don't doubt it.
All right.
That guy puts in more miles on his vehicle than anybody.
Yep.
I don't.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, he's going to drive from Disney back home, and then we turn around and fly out to Panama in the morning after.
I didn't know you were going to Panama.
Yeah, it's a little add in there, but
yeah. Is that for Heliconia?
No, just working there with Jackson.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But I just was amazed that he's going to do that turnaround of driving a Winnebago from Florida, and then our flight's out at like 7 a.m. So,
oh geez.
Yeah. So it's going to be, typical Jameson fashion.
Yeah, well, that's for you younger guys. My road tripping overnight power trips like that are behind me.
Yeah, I'm getting there. These bags are starting to stick around. They don't just show up.
They don't go anywhere, man.
Yeah.
So you get to go now. I don't remember. Now, you've been to Los Buzos?
I have once.
Okay.
Was also filming with Jackson a while back. It was when Bart Swab caught that giant rooster fish at the end of the trip.
Oh, so that was actually on my trip.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. It's all blurring together.
Oh, I know. That's why. I mean, I can never remember who was on what trip. So
I do recall all the gear that you had laid out in that little like common area. I remember that.
Right.
That day one unpacking. So yeah.
So I mean, we could talk all day about Los Buzos. I mean, it's such a cool place. I mean, that's not what this show's about, but I mean, for anybody who is interested in a place that is super dialed in for kayak fishermen.
Oh yeah.
For the potential of really big game fish, it's pretty hard to beat with their operation for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I think I got rumored that I'm at least going to be able to have a few lines in the water, not just behind the camera the whole time. So
yeah, I hope you get to fish this time.
Rooster fish, and still need to check that one off. So
oh really? Yeah. You got to do that. But back to what we have going on here this trip. Like I said, we went to was it Pompano Beach?
Yep.
And so we show up for the SailFish Smackdown, and we got smacked down by wind. We kind of went back and forth with Patrick because we went and saw him, and then we got a break, and then we're looking for something to do, and then we went and saw him again, which was like the second half of last week's episode. So things were a little out of order. As I recall, what ends up being in the crux of this episode is going to the what they call it, the stick pond or something.
Yeah, stick marsh, I believe, or
stick marsh.
Pond. Yeah. And at the time that I think the one we fished wasn't even really like had a name yet. It's like next to that one, and but yeah, no, it was like world renowned a while back, and then I think it kind of got fished out, and then where we were able to go in was like kayak only at the time, and it's not anymore. So
oh really?
Yep.
Oh, that's too bad.
Or no motor. I shouldn't say kayak only. It was no motor.
Well, yeah. So I mean, still, because I mean, we had talked to some guys and we'd seen some photos and stuff, and there were definitely some big quality fish coming out of there.
Yep.
And even with the conditions that we were dealing with, we got some decent fish. We did so much driving on that trip. I honestly trying to remember where the places were.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally lost, and I haven't watched this episode I think since it aired. So it's just one of those things. So we're gonna sit back and watch it together.
Right.
And if people have any questions or comments about it, I know I caught a decent fish on it. I think you definitely outfished me, as normal as I would expect when we're bass fishing. We were fishing with, God, do you remember the guy's name? We were fishing with the dude. He was a Hobie guy.
Jason Broach, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Super, super nice guy.
Very knowledgeable.
Yeah. He was great. He was a Hobie guy. And this, I mean, everybody knows I'm a paddler. I mean, I love paddling. I think this was definitely, with that wind, this was definitely an instance where having the pedal drive to hold position so you could even try to work areas was huge. We were using stakeout poles, but man, if we'd had a power pole, would have been very nice. But I think the way the wind was, I think I would want one at the bow and the stern.
Right. Yeah, because I do remember him, like, he would kind of show us how to, give us a little 411 on it, and the way he was able to hold, like, it definitely with his pedals I could tell it was, advantageous to him.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I love to paddle. I like the simplicity of paddling, but there are times, and people are all, you got to have pedals that's, hands free and And I mean, I can argue with people all day about the efficiency of paddling versus pedaling if you're in the right boat. But there are 100% times when those pedals are super advantageous.
Oh yeah.
Just like there are times when the paddle is, when you're going over stuff where you just don't want to be hanging up. And I mean, with a paddle boat, I can go over water this deep and it can be choked with kelp or weeds, and I can just still glide right over the top of it. So each boat has its advantages. That's why you need more than one boat.
Yep. And even to that, coming from how I got into the sport was through river fishing, and that's can be pretty treacherous on a drive. And I was used to, like, trying to be as simple as possible. I usually overcomplicated things, but like you said, trying to keep my rig as simple as possible and sleek, and just get in and get out and go fish. And so I definitely came into it through more of a paddle over pedal kind of thing.
Right.
So it's been a adjustment for me as well.
Yeah. And I will say the pedal systems have definitely gotten better. The stuff that Hobie is doing with their pedal systems is amazing. Jackson has come a long way, vast improvement on their boats. And then of course there's the whole Torpedo thing, which will make you lazy very fast, but they are awesome. Yeah. I'm actually getting a new Torpedo to put on my Blue Sky. That'll help with that shoulder.
That's right.
But if people remember, I had the dual Torpedoes set up on it on the end of each pontoon, which it made that thing move, but it steered like a pig in mud. I mean, because I was still trying to steer it with the rudder, and the motors were fixed going straight. So, and I'll show everybody once I get this thing rigged up, but I'm going to go a little bit different. There was an idea of hooking up the Torpedo to the steering levers on the Blue Sky, which I had seen done, but supposedly it wasn't working great. So I think what I'm going to do is instead do that same thing, put the motor going forward in front of the rudder. And that way it'll force, because the whole key is when they were on the back of those pontoons, it wasn't forcing the water over the rudder. Where this way, if the water is forced over the rudder, it should, in theory, handle much better. Because I mean, that's what the pedal drive is. It's propulsion in front of the rudder.
Yeah, so, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm going with that bigger 1103, which should make that thing just scoot. Because if you haven't seen, I mean, I love all the boats, and I love to fish off anything, but that Blue Sky for the flats and for bass fishing and all that stuff, the Blue Sky is one of the most fun boats I've ever fished off of.
Oh yeah, no, I saw you do some work down in Louisiana on it.
I think I posted a photo from that Louisiana picture. Jackson posted a photo of it, and I shared it today. But I mean, and then you watch, Jameson actually standing on top of the seat. It's absolutely crazy. So before we get to this, start airing this episode, there are a couple more comments. I just want to say hello to some people. Of course, our favorite Gene Wilson, the biggest team mom from Jackson Kayak, our biggest cheerleader. Always very, very cool. We got Brian Hoyt is saying hello from Southwest Florida. Eric Gadsden saying hello. How about Karen McCall saying hello from Scotland? Now we've got some good ones here, huh?
Yeah.
Dubai, England, Scotland, Canada. Lauren Dupree says the Old Town autopilot works good too. Oh, I bet that thing. I mean, having the autopilot and any of that spot lock stuff, particularly for the bass fishermen, that sort of thing, or even here where you're maybe fishing deep and trying to stay over deep structure for vertical jigging, that sort of thing, it would be really cool. Eric Gadsden, I didn't understand the advantage between paddle pedal until I started fishing inshore, near shore, windy conditions with my pedal kayak buddies. I literally made a change to pedal. Yeah, like I said, there are definitely some things that it's better for. There are definitely some things that paddling is better for. What gets me is when they're like, "Oh, your legs are stronger than your arms, so pedaling is better." Well, that whenever somebody says that, it tells me the person doesn't have a clue on how to paddle. Because paddling is everything. So if you're ever wondering, I mean, watch like an Olympic sprint paddler. I mean, they look like they're pedaling a bike, because they are flexing their leg with every single stroke. Their legs flex, and it's the torso rotation, and the arms are really not that much a part of it other than holding the paddle.
Right.
It's all that torso rotation. So if you want to see somebody, a really efficient paddler, somebody who understands using your whole body to paddle, watch one of those. It's amazing. Paddling is very efficient if you paddle properly.
Yeah, technique.
Yeah, but like I said, holding yourself in current during certain things, there's definitely the pedals are the way to go, and that's why there will always be both types, and that's why I will always probably have both now. Having both boats. So, with no further ado, let's bring this episode up. Let's do it this way now, because I don't know if you've seen this. We have now the picture-in-picture.
Whoa.
Not cool.
All right. Well, right quick, remind me how long ago this was, because COVID has thrown off all my timelines. I want to say it was like a couple years ago, but it's probably more than that.
Yeah, Brooks, I want to say this was like 2016.
Oh wow.
It might be 2017.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's probably longer back than I.
Well, this was season 9 of my show.
Mm-hmm.
I've done 13, and I haven't shot an episode in a year, or a season in a year. So yeah, I mean, it very well could be 16, 17.
Wow.
So it was a while back.
Yeah.
My mouse disappeared.
This week on the Kayak Fishing Show, we are in Pompano, Florida. We are here to fish in the SailFish Smackdown with our buddy Joe Hector from Extreme Kayak Fishing.
He can use his arms when he paddles.
We have managed to blow this thing up, and the tournament's canceled.
Does Joe Hector own a shirt with sleeves?
Anyway.
I wouldn't. Yeah, you can see that wind was ripping.
That's when we went to that other lake or something and just tried to do something. I think he caught some peacock bass or caught some largemouth on live bait.
Always likes your intro, man. This is one of my favorite intros.
Yeah, you're in this intro.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Gonna see here in a second. Woohoo! Or something.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. There it is. That was fishing for those stripers.
Yep, out in North Carolina.
Yeah, that was a fun trip. So before this thing gets actually started, just make sure that if you have any questions, comments, shoot them our way. We're happy to answer any questions, field any comments or anything if you're wondering about the area or about the fishing or about the kayaks or anything else. You got two guys who've been sitting in kayaks for a long time. We're happy to help you. So Shoot us your questions.
Well, what's there to say? Jim Sammons came to Florida and the wind came with him. Now I'm starting to wonder if it happens to me too.
So yeah, we're here at the location of the SailFish Smackdown. It's bad today. It's supposed to be worse tomorrow. We've got a real thumping inside wave that would be tough to get past. Then a real rough section, and then an outer break on the outer sandbar there, that if you lost it out there, you'd be in big trouble. I mean, it's just a simply straight up a dangerous situation, and it was really smart of these guys to postpone the event because nobody would have had a good time in this.
I'm Joe Hector, and I run the Extreme Kayak Fishing Tournament Series out of Pompano Beach, Florida. It's the nation's kayak-only billfish tournament. So the way it's been growing throughout the years, the anglers that come from other countries, it's truly a sight to see. We get a lot of people from out of state, and they come and make a whole vacation out of our events. And they'll come and stay here in Pompano Beach, and they'll bring their family with them. And that's the beauty of it. You know, you're coming to South Florida. You're coming to the mecca of offshore fishing. And that's kind of how we sell it for people to come from out of states.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted to come here and fish in the SailFish Smackdown because they put on such an amazing event. I mean, if you can have a kayak fishing tournament for sailfish that's put on the way they do, like a professional boat tour tournament, I just had to do it.
And bring the wind and get it canceled.
This cool little place we're staying at, Pineapple Place, I mean, it's a block away from the water. It's just a sweet little hotel, and I mean it's kind of a funny little area. I mean, it's got an old feel in a lot of ways, and it's got a new kind of cool feel. A lot of new and up and coming restaurants around. But then you could go. We went to a bar for just a quick beer the other night, and it was just a super cool local bar. With great music going on. It's just, there's something to do here no matter what you want to do.
That was a cool little apartment.
Pompano Beach is really a charming town. There's a lot here. It has all the right elements.
We dropped all of our gear in there.
Yeah, we always have to make sure that we film the hotels or lodges before we start unloading, because usually it looks like a bomb went off by the time we're done.
Right. That's what I was just thinking. I was like, oh, look how clean it is.
Yeah, that doesn't last long.
We have Shipwreck Park offshore. We have a beachfront that is sparkling, brand new, just beautiful. One of the prettiest beaches in South Florida. But we don't have the crowds. We don't have the chaos that our neighbors to the north and south have. Now, you're close by. You can have as much chaos as you want, but then you come back to a quiet, peaceful place right here at Pineapple Place.
I'd say that was a fair statement.
They said it'll be awesome. They said,
Oh, it's unbelievable.
hasn't blown like this in 20 years.
Oh.
Although where we're standing right now is quite windy, we think we've got some canals we can enter and just get out of this wind. Because I mean,
this is comical.
It's windy.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the beginning of the front, so you can imagine 2 days from now, the SailFish Smackdown. It would have been insane. You know,
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's supposed to be at its height on Saturday, right?
Exactly.
So I said, we're going to wing it. We're going to have fun. There's always something to do. There's always water to fish. So let's get after it.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Florida is unique and very cool in the fact that depending on the conditions, you can change your plan and go 30 minutes the other way, an hour the other way, and you're in perfect fishing conditions. You know, you can tuck in canals, get out of the wind, or you can go more inshore to lakes.
If you can stay mobile and keep your options open and stay positive, you will find some place to go fish, and you will find some fish that want to bite.
Awesome.
You got to keep the positive attitude.
Yeah.
Not get beat down.
Well, and that was it. I mean, and we said it right there. The cool thing is within a couple hours, and we did this on our last trip with Patrick, is like we were running from one coast to the other.
Yep.
You know, just to get out of bad conditions. So you you always have that opportunity. We went from saltwater. Well, let's find a more of a sheltered lake. There's always something.
Jackson Kayak.
As much as Florida hates me, and I've had terrible luck in Florida, I can appreciate that there is
Ray Marine.
There is stuff
Simply
to do there.
superior.
Yeah.
So we got a good luck charm here. We got a coconut tree growing.
That's right.
For Jim. Hopefully this will solve the wind issues. So here we go.
So this is my first time in Pompano, and I call it Pompano because the wind is blowing the whole time we were here. Literally 20 plus mile an hour winds. You go walk on the beach for a second, you're getting sandblasted. Palm fronds are flying off on people's cars. It's not kayaking conditions. It's not fishing conditions. There's small craft
get my hair trimmed. That's not a bad look with the shortcut.
It's every fisherman's pretty much worst nightmare.
We brought the Kraken on this trip because we were going to go offshore for SailFish, and putting in miles. And then when I heard that the tournament was canceled, we were not going to be able to fish offshore, and we're going to be fishing canals and lakes for bass, I was a little bummed. I mean, I was like, maybe I'd really like one of these other boats. But Brooks, having the stand ability and the ability to put that really,
I think, I'm just because I'm trying to remember something. I think I was literally at the airport on my way to go on the trip when they contacted me and told me the tournament was canceled. It's like, well, we're on our way. let's wing it.
Figure it out when we get there.
Oh, wait a minute. There's a comment here from some Yahoo. James Macbeth, Brooks has not changed his hair. Well, have you? Is it still? Yeah, no, that's still the same. Wow, it looks even longer.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I might need to get it cut. It's a little, COVID long right now.
That is.
Well, James,
I had the COVID hair for over a year. It was fairly long, and then my wife actually just was done with it, and I'm just like, I gotta lose it. So, since we're paused, T-Drum looking to purchase a new kayak for inshore fishing up in the Maynard Island area. Any recommendations? Length, width to handle surf, stripers, blues, albies. There's so many boats out there. Find yourself an old used Kraken. If you want to go the pedal route, there's certainly some great boats out there. I know there's something top secret going to be coming out pretty soon from Jackson. We can't really talk about it. I mean, if you're in a big hurry to get a boat, then maybe not this one. But if you're willing to wait a short amount of time, they're just waiting on some parts. There's going to be a really cool boat out there from Jackson that would be right up your alley for that fishery. Other than that, like I said, if you want to pedal or paddle, I don't even know what's available in the boats right now. I mean, you got the Bite. I was actually surprised. I fished the Bite FD off the beach down in Florida with Patrick Sabile. And for a boat that was a little bit smaller than I'm used to using, it was actually very workable. I was very pleasantly surprised how seaworthy that little boat was.
Yeah, I guess the main thing with the surf, just making sure it's to sit on top.
Yes.
And length, width. It sounds like kind of a little bit of a catch-all boat there. But I guess mainly because when I think inshore, I think of Louisiana, but I'm thinking it's more like a
right. When I think of inshore, I generally think of flats and that sort of thing. Once you're going out past the surf, we always kind of call that offshore. And then you want a boat, obviously, that can handle surf. Some boats are much better at it than others. Most of the Jackson boats have been designed to handle surf pretty well. Mm-hmm. Of course, like I said, the Kraken was exactly made for that. But in the pedal boats, this new boat, like I said, this new boat that'll be out soon, I think you might want to.
Yeah. hang on for a minute.
Stay tuned. This is a really exciting boat that I think you're going to want to see. Where else? There's another question here. Oh, James again says you have to shave before next week.
No,
I want to see you shave your head.
That's only happened once. I don't know if that would. It'd have to be big stakes for me to do that again.
Remember, I did it during one of our shows. I lost a bet to Jameson.
I'll shave it if James wears it.
There you go. He could use it.
Easily put the power pole micro anchor onto the mayfly. So even in the windiest conditions, it was super easy for him to drop his power pole, hold position, stand up, sight cast to the bed. So that was a really awesome platform for Brooks to be in with the combination of that power pole.
Nice largemouth. I'm an offshore guy, man. I don't fish a lot of this this freshwater stuff. You know what I mean? I like getting sails and wahoo, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get something big in here. Maybe that was big. I don't know. I'm sure the guys will rip me apart for it. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, the beauty of fishing in South Florida, you know, we get so many exotics here, you know, and it all kind of started with FWC. They released this type of peacock to take care of the Mayan cichlids, and the cichlids were taken over. So they released the peacock bass, which, I mean, really changed the game with fishing here in South Florida for exotics. But yeah, it's just, oh, fish on. Another largemouth. And yeah, you know, Pompano Beach. Whoop. Nice largemouth. Just sitting here on the troll.
I've heard and known about the Extreme Kayak
Bait
Fishing
soaker
Tournament for a long time. I've seen things over the
I
years,
wasn't.
and actually last time I fished offshore was with Jim off the North Carolina coast, and I had an absolute blast. So I was really looking forward to getting out here, getting offshore, and maybe tangling with my first billfish. But weather had other plans, and we still got more to go.
So this is Old Pompton right here.
I forgot
Freddie
we went to
and
that
I would
pond.
fish this little pond here. And honestly, I caught my biggest peacock in here. It's been getting stocked for years, but the beauty of it is so small that, like, you can get everything in this pond. And there's also a mother tarpon in here that's about 100 pounds. She's the erratic cheetah. She's got like weird coloring, and that's what we call her. So hopefully we'll hook into her. So.
Yeah, it's funny things that you kind of forget about.
They had a cold snap. The water just, some of these fish just couldn't take it. So even though we got out fishing, the fishing was just super slow as well. So we're struggling, but you know what? We're having a great time, and we're going to keep going looking for more fish.
We're struggling, but we got beer, so we're all right.
Speaking of that, what are you sipping on this evening?
Got my old
I know who makes it. I'm just curious what
Ballast
flavor.
Point grapefruit sculpin.
Yeah, tried and true.
Yeah, it's picked up a case the other day, so it's like it's for my aches and pains.
That's right. That's right.
Something going on weird with my my screen off to the side here, and I can't see comments.
Jackson Kayak.
I gotta click on this to see what it
family,
says.
Many waters.
Steve says
horizon.
demo several
takes to the
brands.
water
That is
standard
always a
horizon.
good idea. Demo
Marine.
boat, see what you're the most comfortable
Simply
in.
superior.
See what works for your style of fishing.
Yep. I still got that cooler. If I drove that down.
So in our never-ending hunt to try and get on some fish and get on.
If you
out
got
of the
one,
wind,
it's going to last
you know, we're
forever.
supposed to be at the SailFish Smackdown today, but got postponed. So
Jason
made some phone calls and hooked up with Jason Broach, who has kindly offered to show us around a piece of water that he knows really well. So we just want to pull on something. So we're going to go out there and give it a go.
Well, we're at the Stick Marsh, fishing on one of the nearby lakes. We have spawning fish down here right now. It's actually January, but they actually start in November. We'll be catching fish on beds, fish around beds. A lot of the males are defensive this time of year, so if you can find clusters of beds, you can pitch a swim bait over there, chatterbait, any type of moving bait, and it's just like trying to chase away a bluegill. They're going to hit it. So we'll definitely catch a lot of fish that way. If we get lucky, the wind dies down, we can see beds, we can sight fish, try to get some of those.
We ain't getting that lucky.
But, we should catch a lot of fish. It's going to be a good day, and yeah.
I got some friends that were just down there this last weekend, and I think they had similar conditions.
Little guy. I think the wind's affecting the bite a little
Except
bit.
it's been super cold.
Eventually we'll
Yeah,
find some bigger
yeah.
fish and a lot more fish, but for
Yeah, I
now,
guess it was still warm enough there.
I'm just going to fish right in this 5-foot zone here that's out of the wind.
Well, Jason took us out there, and he's kind of a man of few words. So he's like, all right, we're going to head into the wind. And so we were paddling for a while and was really questioning whether it was going to be worth it.
But as he promised, there were some really good quality bass.
Yeah, the little guy. We're about to find him, though. Just keep watching, keep waiting. It's going to happen.
Finally, I came up to a spot, and I caught one good one, right at 19, 20-inch fish. And 2 casts later, caught another one about the same exact size. So finally, it was cool to get on the pattern and catch 2 solid fish back to back. Not super big, actually pretty small, but I've got the skunk out of the boat, so we're going to upgrade from here. He's a lively one.
One of the more difficult aspects of fishing in the wind was positioning your kayak so you could get the cast in the direction you wanted, and through the use of the Yak park and pole. What I was doing was, if I wanted to be facing forward, I would push that park and pole down through a forward scupper. If I wanted to be facing the opposite or downwind, I would put it in a scupper in the tank well, and then the boat would spin around.
So let me pause right there by saying that's not really the best thing in the world to do for your boat, but you had to do what we had to do. Generally, you don't want to put torque and leverage on the scuppers of a kayak. It is kind of the weakest part of your boat. And with that wind, it was really torquing that, that stakeout pole. There are definitely better ways to do it. We just were not prepared for that.
Right.
So, whether it's running an anchor trolley up the side, or I've seen them do it with actually the rod holder and putting it through a rod holder. And so that works okay. So like I said, we did this on that trip. I'm not recommending it just because, we did not damage the boat, but there is potential, particularly for maybe some less quality boats. Again, your scuppers are always going to be the weakest point of your boat. That's why I don't like scupper wheels, trolleys, whatever, because if great if you're going on flat ground, but if you're going over uneven ground and it's torquing it all, you can break a scupper. And the worst thing is you don't know you've done it. Then you're out on the water and your boat's filling up. So just think about that.
Around that way. I think ideally what you would want would be a Yak Attack anchor trolley. So then you could go through the park and pole from the front.
Didn't know I was about to say that.
Without putting that pressure on the scupper hole. I was just kind
of like when you say what the commentators say at the NFL game right before they say it.
Man, I've been struggling with the wind, had missed some fish. Finally saw a little shallow area and threw the chatterbait over there. Oh, let me see. Yep, old chatterbait over there, and just absolutely hammered it. I knew it was a good one immediately. Just digging. Oh, yeah,
I do like how dark the Florida bass get.
And that deserves a.
There it is.
I have to stop that. I have to.
There's not a whole lot of places you can pull out there.
He's an idiot.
There's this one little island, and I wanted to get off the kayak and stretch my legs for a couple minutes and just not have to struggle in the wind. So I went up on the bank, stood there for a second, and I'm like, there's some beds out there. I'll make a few casts out in this area. And boom, just a toad.
That's a big rod.
It was really cool. That's a good fish. That is the biggest bass I've ever caught right there. Woo!
I don't bass fish a lot.
I was tired of battling the wind.
That's a good one, regardless.
On this little tiny island, just so I could stretch my legs and make some casts up here. That is hands down biggest largemouth I've ever caught. Woo! Ah! Makes that struggling with the wind worth it. Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's up pretty good.
Yeah, it's up against there.
22 3/4. That thing's on back.
Today, Jim got one that was 22 3/4 inches. That's a pretty hefty fish. Easy 7-pound fish. That's a nice fish for this lake. He pushed that big fish mark today.
That's awesome, man. And I know we talked about how bad the conditions were, but like reliving it in my head, it was just like the several days of like fighting it and trying to find a place. And like, so what they see in maybe, 10 minutes or whatever was like a couple of days of, if not more of.
Well, you're there for a week.
Yeah.
And I having done this show for such a long time, just straight up honest tell you, it never looks as bad on camera as it does in real life. I mean, like I've been offshore and it's big swell and choppy and just nasty. And then you look at it on camera and it's like, it doesn't look that bad. But it can be really, really bad. Mitch says, I won an Orion. Well, that's the best way to get one. Ballistic Adventure says Lake
Okeechobee. No, that's yeah. No, we were over there in Stick Marsh.
I have never fished Okeechobee.
I've been on it once, and it was with my uncle coming back from the saltwater, and he just wanted to run his boat through some clean water, and but we didn't really fish it. We just I got to see it and see that it was like an ocean.
Christian Hunter says going to be blowing 20 miles per hour this week, starting today in Miami. Hidden waters will get warmer faster, and the bite correlate to it in those areas. Tight lines, be safe. Thanks, man. Go get them. I wish you luck. And fishing in the wind. Fishing in the wind sucks. I can't see this comment. I see there's a comment here, but I can't see what it is. Sorry, offshore. It would be launching into the surf, sit on top. Was thinking Old Town Salty. I don't know Old Town Salty. When I think of from the Old Town group and offshore, I think of Ocean Kayak. And I don't even know what's going on with them anymore. The boat we would have used back in my day with Ocean Kayak would have been the Trident. So, but again, these are all paddling boats. So
yeah, and I'm sure
there's. Go ahead.
I'm sure there's a dealer up that way that probably carries multiple brands, and like I said, they know that area, and that's what I mean. I remember when I was doing more with Jackson and stuff, that it was like the dealers are your source to the pulse of what's going on.
Right. And generally speaking, whether it's on Facebook or whatever, there's always tends to be groups in your, there's a San Diego kayak fishing group, and there's always groups for the area that you're fishing, and they're always more than welcome or willing to give their opinion. Take some of those with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to lie, there tends to be this year's expert. They've been kayak fishing for 3 months, and all of a sudden they are answering all the questions on the page. And and 6 months ago they were buying their first kayak. So take some of the opinions with a grain of salt. Try different boats, like was mentioned before. That's the best thing I can say.
And I think there may be one more comment. I can see it. It was Mitch, I guess, LeCoupe. He said, "Nice bass." That was, that might be the
Thanks,
one.
Mitch. Yeah. That had to have been my bass.
Yeah, I think so. I'd say so.
Let's get her rolling again.
All right.
Come on. This is the built-in commercial break. It's where I can run out and grab another beer.
So I think you may have had an addition to the family since I was there last. I just heard a dog in the background.
Kayak Fishing Show is brought to you by.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time you were here, but yeah, 5 dogs.
What's the newest one's name again?
The newest one is Dusty.
Dusty, nice.
And he's a rescue from Mexico, and we did a DNA test on him. And it says he's Old English Sheepdog and then something else. And he definitely has an Old English Sheepdog look. What we say is Old English Sheepdog, part Muppet, because the dog looks like a freaking Muppet.
That's funny. We'll look forward to meeting him.
Horizon.
No, he's a good boy.
Yak Attack. Coke Attack.
Lots of great new stuff coming from Oak. A Yak Attack too.
Warner. Orion Coolers.
Little guy. Sigmarsh is super cool. It's way out there in the cut, and there's no houses on the water. You're just out there in nature, and it's beautiful palm trees, grass, hydrilla. I mean, it's a bass fisherman's paradise.
Boy, that makes that other one look massive. Just taking advantage of this little island. It's really even the only place we could stop. And just trying to get someplace where I could fish a little more efficiently, because, man, even with having the stakeout pole, it's so difficult in this high wind.
Gust 20 to 30 miles per hour. That's not what you really want to fish in ever, especially when you want the potential to bed fish. We didn't really get to do that today, but we did catch some fish around beds, but we weren't able to sight fish those big, 8-pound females and better. A lot of big fish around here, and the bass fishing around here, of course, is just phenomenal. You look up Stick Marsh, you're going to see stories of 15-pounders and so on. Nearby lakes like Kenonsville Lake, multiple 8-pound fish and better come out of there every year. We're lucky to have a lot of big fish in our freshwater systems, inshore waters, and even offshore waters.
Though you generally think of sunny Florida, we had overcast, we had rain, we had sun, we had a variety of conditions. So having the right clothing is always so important. That sun protection. For my legs, of course, I was wearing my Kokatat paddling pants on some of the days and not others, just kind of depending. The water was a little bit chilly, so having the paddling pants on made it so much more comfortable. And then protecting the foot of those with my extra tough water shoes. Think about what you're wearing on the kayak. Stay away from the cottons. That stuff gets wet, it stays wet. This type of stuff, it gets wet and it's dry in minutes.
That dude caught a lot of fish.
He did. And like I said, I think part of it was him being able to hold himself facing the right direction into the wind. Yeah. Even with the power pole, maybe not be facing the way I wanted to.
That's what I was saying at the beginning. We needed one on each end.
That was probably some of the hardest consistent wind I've ever just stayed out in. Normally, we would just say, you know what, we're done. But we had some work to do, so we stuck it out, and I'm glad we did, because we got some really, really good fish. That was, like I said, just consistent. 20 mile an hour, and then blowing harder in gusts. And of course, it dies right when we want to finish fishing.
That explains a little bit of it. He's a little smaller than I thought. The big one's over there, right? Now I got this one out of the way. Yeah. Big girl sitting there.
I know people have done it. I've never done that. I've never caught the small one off the bed and then the big one.
You wanted the frog.
Right.
Caught this one on the frog, which I've been throwing off and on today, but they kept eating the chatterbait. But I always throw the frog, man. It's Florida. All right, let's let him go.
I can just close my eyes and smell that fish.
We
Right.
want to thank the
Yeah,
folks
if you ever
Pineapple
had
Place
that, yeah,
for hosting
true.
us while we're here in Pompano. What a great little place they have here. We're a block away from the water. We walk across the street and we're at the beach. We walk down the block and there's restaurants and bars. For those that are coming to Pompano for the SailFish Smackdown, this really is a perfect place to stay because A, you can get a few guys in here. It's nice size. And where you're going to be launching your kayaks is literally just across the street. So super, super convenient. Yeah. I can't see him.
Another good
What
one.
a way to finish the day. Paddling back in. A nice quality fish. Beautiful colors. Well, man, we've had a very tough but super fun day. Big fish. Can't thank Jason enough for bringing us out here and helping us out in these tough conditions. Join us next week for more adventures on the Kayak Fishing Show.
Oh, that's right. They sent us some footage from when it was rescheduled. I forgot.
Doesn't look much better, but a little
Yeah, I was going to say, it's
better.
still not looking great.
Yeah. No, it's at least doable. The other one wasn't doable. Dang.
Take it. So they
This week on the Kayak Fishing Show.
Started playing the other one. So they just had that tournament last week.
Oh, cool.
Last weekend.
I'm happy to hear it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going. And so obviously you didn't see that, but Brian Nelly won.
Oh.
And that's the 4th time he's won it. That's impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
to go out there, I mean, granted he guides out there, but still, no matter if you're guiding, but to be able to win that thing, you got things dialed in.
Yeah, he's a good
You know.
fisherman. I know I met him in Louisiana. I think that was the only time that I've actually got to kind of hang out and be around him, but he's a knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, I met him one time. I think it may have been at a trade show, but I mean forever ago. But I said to be able to win that tournament, it's been going on quite a few years now. To win it 4 times, you're doing something right. You know, winning it once is one thing. Winning it twice, okay, you got lucky twice, but 4 times, yeah. Oh, Aline says you haven't seen Boomy either.
Ooh.
So Boomy's our small one, looks like a miniature golden retriever. Like I said, there's so many dogs I can't keep track. Mitch says I've been kayak fishing since 2016 and he's still an amateur. Yeah, well, I am too. Whenever I go to someplace new, I consider myself a total amateur, and that's why I always get a guide when we go someplace new. Chummy Water says y'all are lucky to fish the Florida waters. Yeah, maybe. Like I said, I have had the straight up worst luck. Florida is one of those places that just I've had terrible luck at. It's very rare I've gone there where the conditions were good. And maybe the one time I've been there where the conditions were good, the fish were complete lockjaw.
Oh, really?
Last time I was there with Patrick, we fished some offshore stuff. We fished some inshore. We saw so many fish. Snook. We saw so many fish. And man, trying to get one to bite was just, I said over and again, Florida hates me. It's like, Maybe it's because I'm from California.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that when you're there, when it all lines up, it's probably, you know, it's one of the most epic days of fishing you ever have, and you'll forget all the bad days. But I think, like I said, from being from out of town, if you live there, it'd be different, and you could just go when the weather's right or when the conditions are right. But when you're traveling in, they do get some pretty sustained fronts where the wind just blows for a week, you know. But
well, that's it, and that's what, like you said at the beginning, it's like, you know, if you're going, give yourself a week.
Yeah.
You know, if you can, because I mean, and you very well could have a week of great fishing.
Yep.
But I've also had a week of getting blown off the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of those places, like you said, if you live there, then you can go when it's good, and then you can go out there and crush it. So,
and then my buddy down in the Keys, Randy Morrow, it wasn't the news I wanted to hear, but he said the hotter it gets, the more stable the weather gets. So,
oh, really?
Yes, or at least the winds, you know, like during the colder months, you'll get more of the sustained winds that blow for longer. But then, you know, if it's June and 90 something and humid and the bugs, so it's like it's kind of the one or the other. But when you're catching fish, you kind of forget about some of that stuff.
Well, also, isn't it when it gets really hot like that, you also tend to get that every afternoon rainstorm.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, my wife and I talk about leaving California every once in a while, and you know, where else would we go? It's just like it's so tough to leave here. I mean, California's crazy with a lot of. It's getting very, very expensive to live here, but she can't handle bugs. I'm lucky; I don't get bit by bugs.
Yeah.
But she can't handle bugs, and it's like, where do we go?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we were out there for that little 3-month stint last year. That, I mean, yeah, the weather conditions are pretty solid year round where you're at.
Yeah, I mean,
so, hard
unless there's a storm. I mean, I could go fishing almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, it's freezing here in the winter. You know, I said it was like 56 when I was out for my walk a little bit earlier. So.
Yeah.
Brooks, anything you want to share, man? Anything you're up to that you want to talk about?
You know, still in the photography and videography realm, working with my buddy Ed Anderson. We're getting some stuff started off the ground here. He's out in Idaho, and he's an artist. He's been part of the Jackson team, and you know, just kind of combining our powers, if you will. And like I said, just moving forward with some of that. It's he's got some lifestyle brand stuff going along with his brand, and then
that's cool with his art on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
very cool.
Adding in the photo, video stuff, and so just plugging along.
Well, hopefully we get back to shooting here. Like I said, get the shoulder sorted out, and it's kind of hard to when I can't lift my left arm. I was at a party. Our friends had a birthday party last week before. And it's like, I couldn't drink with my left hand because I was like, I get here, I'm like, wait, I can't lift my shoulder any higher than that. I got to drink strictly right-handed.
Yeah, that's tough, man. I do hope you can get that sorted quickly.
Yeah, I hope so. And if not, I'll just get another shot in it. We'll get back because I got to get back to shooting. I got to get back to travel, and I miss it. I was actually talking to Will, my old videographer, and.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's heading down to Panama with you guys. I wonder why I didn't get the invite. That's all I'm saying. But Will's like, I have no desire to travel. I'm like, man, I miss it.
Yeah. I know y'all both did it for a long time, but it's still in your blood. And me and my girlfriend, we've talked about like, okay, are we going to settle down here? And as soon as you're home for 3 weeks, you're like, all right, well, where are we going next? You know, it's
right.
Like you know, one side it's like you want to settle down, and the other side is like, well, there's so much to go see.
I miss it. I miss meeting new people. I miss going to different restaurants and tasting different food from new areas, and yeah, I miss all that. And hopefully things loosen up a bit more. I mean, there's still some places I'd like to go that are still a little bit locked down, and hopefully things straighten out here very soon. I know everybody's kind of over it.
Yeah. My actually, I'm not sure if you know him or not, but Marty from from down under, Burley Pro and stuff like that. After I went with Robert Field right before COVID. We went to New Zealand and went on a big trip. And he was like, "Oh yeah, bro, I got to get you to come out here and work with me for like 6 months." And like I was like, "Yeah, dude, let's do it." And like that'd be awesome. Like, who doesn't want to be in Australia for several months, like working? But then COVID shut it down, and I don't think they've accepted us since. I don't know, but
Australia and New Zealand have just been insane lockdown.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So
I'm still holding on that he'll take me up on that whenever we get the green light. But
well, bring me with you.
All right,
brother. Well, I do appreciate you jumping on there last minute, and wish you well. And I hope the Panama thing goes well. That's just like next week, isn't it?
Yeah, Saturday, I believe we leave, flying out.
Yeah, I didn't get the invite.
I think it's just because I can hold a camera. You know, with your shoulder, I don't.
That was it. I can't hold the camera. I wouldn't have held the camera. I would have just been holding a fishing rod. So
right.
All right, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, same here, man. Thanks. Enjoyed it. It was good reliving that memory.
Oh, for sure. That's what I love doing about this is just reliving the shows.
Yeah, man.
All right. Later. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We ran a little bit long today, but it was good catching up with my buddy Brooksy. And I appreciate y'all joining us. Remember, we'll be back again next Tuesday. And please share our videos with your friends because that really helps us get that get it out there to see more people. And that way my sponsors like me, and that way I can do more shows. So if you are going out fishing or getting out on your kayak, please remember to always wear your PFD and keep your paddle right side up. Y'all take care.